Hey everyone, my name is Sean and welcome to Geeksvana. Today we're going to be taking everything we have learned about the new UK drone rules and showing you how to find places to fly with your DJI Mini 2 or other sub 250-gram drone. First up, a challenge for you. I know we've been in lockdown here in the UK and flying opportunities have been limited for many of us, but where have you been flying? Let me know in the comments below, especially if you've grabbed any cool locations on film. Where you can fly is still one of the biggest questions we get most often from viewers. We've got another video coming up soon which will look at how to find locations to fly with your A2 CFC and for hobbyists flying drones over 250 grams. But today our focus is on the little drone from DJI and where you can fly it. Because that's really what this is all about, getting to fly your little drone in some cool places. To get these next videos or more drone and tech content, hit the subscribe button. This video will be split into 4 main sections and you'll find chapters below to jump around depending on the information you want to find, although I would suggest it could be useful to watch all the sections as you might be surprised at some of the information. These sections will focus on a drone rule reminder for sub 250-gram drones, a look at the Drone Assist app and how to recognise where you can fly amongst all the red circles and bow ties and yellow circles. That app can be a little bit hypnotic sometimes, can't it? We will then look at where you can take off from and one of my personal favourites, permission flying. So first up, a quick reminder on the drone rules for the DJI Mini 2 and other similar sub 250-gram drones. You need to register your drone with the CAA via DMARS or the Drone and Model Aircraft Registration and Education Scheme. To be compliant, you will need the operator ID side of the scheme, which currently costs £9 per year and gives you a number which you need to stick on your drone somewhere where it can be accessed by authorities easily without needing a tool. You do not currently need the Flyer ID, which is the theory test based on 40 multiple choice questions. This side of the DMARS is free and lasts for 5 years, so personally I do not see the harm in learning about the rules and taking the test. If nothing else, it shows others that you have a firm grasp of the basic rules surrounding drone flights, but that's completely up to you. The Mini 2 gets a lot more freedom as it is under 250 grams, so therefore the risk to others and property when you're flying is greatly reduced. However, you still need to cover the basics and ensure your drone flight is safe at all times. You keep your drone within line of sight and you keep within 120 meters or 400 feet of the closest point above the Earth's surface. You also need to consider privacy very carefully, so be careful how close to people and buildings you get. The area of privacy is a growing focus at the moment, so be very careful not to get caught out. One huge bonus with the DJI Mini 2 or similar sub 250-gram drones is separation distances, or more accurately the lack of them. The usual 50 meter and 150 meter rules are thrown out the window. There is no set separation distance to uninvolved people. You just need to make sure it is safe and not risking harm or injury. You can also fly over people with this class of drone, and you can fly in congested or built up areas. You still need to avoid flying over people who are crowded together, and the CAA advice offers these examples of when to avoid. Next up, and we need to look at airspace. Despite there being lots of exciting allowances for the DJI Mini 2 and sub 250-gram drones in the new UK drone rules, you still need to ensure the airspace is clear for your flight. It doesn't matter what size of drone you're flying, whether you're flying for work or pleasure, or even if you intend to keep your flight lower than the surrounding buildings and trees. If your drone leaves the ground under its own power, then you need to ensure the airspace is clear and safe for your flight. You can check out our other videos via the link in the description to our UK drone rules playlist, which will cover more information such as pre-flight checklists and much more. But today we're going to focus on the one handy app for checking airspace, the NAT Drone Assist app. Although it is aging and a little clunky at points, it is still one of the best UK resources for drone airspace information, and I wholeheartedly recommend you keep a copy of it on your phone or tablet to check regularly. So let's take a look at the app and choose a random area to see where we can fly our Mini 2 drones. Let's take a look at a town city location. Here I'm choosing Guildford. You can see here from the zoomed out map that Guildford is a pretty decent place to fly. There are no airports close by, and on this particular day we have no NOTAMs listed which might impact the flight. Just to show and explain the airspace around airports, I'll just navigate up here slightly to this red area over here. This looks more intimidating, and you might think offers no room for flying your Mini 2 or lightweight drone. However, it should be noted that the red square box here is actually denoting the Class D airspace, known as CTR or Controlled Traffic Region. This means that aircraft in this area are under the control of the air traffic controllers from the nearby area or specific centre. So you should expect to see a higher number of aircraft flying at lower level whilst they make their way to an airport, etc. However, for drones under 20 kilograms, so pretty much all consumer grade drones, you do not need any form of permission to fly in these red zones. Just follow the drone code and be aware of any low flying aircraft, especially emergency service helicopters, etc. The central circle with lines sticking out each side is a very different matter. These are the airport FRZ or flight restriction zones and must not be flown in with a drone, no matter the size, without explicit permission. The circle boundary zone is the main FRZ, but they now include these lines coming out of each side, which are the runway protection zones. They extend at least 1 kilometre in width and 5 kilometres in length, running directly from either end of each runway at the airport. This provides a safety zone for aircraft approaching and leaving an airport, and you'll need to keep your drone away from it. It is also important to investigate other coloured areas marked on the map to ensure it is safe to fly. Simply click on them to read more about each zone. You'll often find they are there for a number of reasons, sometimes as a heads up or to inform you of a NOTAM, notice to airmen, excluding drone flight from an area permanently or temporarily. When you zoom in on a location within the Drone Assist app, it will also give you useful information in terms of ground hazards. This might include schools, electric substations, railways and more. This should all be taken into account when considering where to fly your drone. This focus on ground hazards takes us nicely to the next section of this video, and that is takeoff and landing. Here on Geeksvana, we have spoken a lot about the issues surrounding where you can and cannot take off from. Again, check out our drone rules playlist in the description for more on the rules around where you can and can't take off from. Today is going to be focused on the Mini 2 sub 250 gram drones, which have no separation issues and therefore a greater level of takeoff freedom. Where you can take off from with your drone is a hot topic right now. One thing to remember here is that there is only one airspace regulator, the UK CAA, so nobody can restrict your use of airspace without a flight restriction zone or NOTAM being in place. A landowner has the right to stop their land being used for any form of activity, so if a farmer or council want to stick up a sign and say do not fly your drone here, what they actually mean is you cannot take off from that land. You can, however, take off from outside the land owned by the party and then fly over at a reasonable height. Council land and bylaws is a particularly interesting area of drone takeoffs. Nobody wants to receive a fine or criminal record for flying their drone. Without veering into a video providing legal advice, which this video is not intended to do in any way, local authority bylaws are very specific about the location they cover and the precise activity. It is therefore always worth looking into the wording of the actual bylaw in place rather than the wording explaining the bylaw on the council website. Also, the wording on this point within the drone code mentions bylaws may restrict when and where you can fly from. Look out for local signs for information and contact details where you can find out more. Bylaws are unlikely to be shown on apps or drone websites. It does not state you need to carry out detailed research in terms of local bylaws, and instead requests that you look out for local signs. So at the very least, check the park entrance for a sign. Remember the words model aircraft does not automatically include drones, and it's worth checking if a sign states this. Remember, as much as the landowner does not have any say in terms of the sky, the same is true of the CAA when discussing land legal issues. Be careful where you take off from and be ready to move off without issue if the owner of the land you are flying from requests it. We're all ambassadors for the hobby whilst out flying, and in my opinion, it's important to protect the flying freedoms the DJI Mini 2 and other sub 250 gram drones have. Now on to our fourth section, talking about permission flying. This will depend on your own feelings towards drone flying and what kind of footage you want to achieve. Personally, I love to fly at some unusual locations and capture some cool footage. This has led me to fly at locations like Buddhist temples, monasteries, mosques, and even a former nuclear weapons RAF base. Researching locations which are within your own travel limits for drone flights can unearth some great places to fly. Simply reach out and speak to those who control the site, and you'll be surprised how many are welcoming and in a lot of cases excited by the prospect. Just ensure you take the safety of the flight into consideration, especially as you might not be able to pre-visit the site for an assessment. So there we have it. Hopefully you have enjoyed this guidance on where to fly your DJI Mini 2 and other sub 250 gram drones, and I hope it helps get you out there flying with a little more confidence. If you're new here, hit subscribe for more drone and tech content, and if you are still watching this video, please take the time to hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
What are you still doing here? You know the drill. The show's over. You don't get to be here after this. Embarrassing me all the time.